Live from the 301, live from the pod. I want to welcome my audience to episode number 220 of Curry and the Pod. I'm your host, your guy Mike Curry, and I'm back another episode, man. If you missed last week's episode, make sure to go check that out, man. It's the first episode in about 9 months. And, you know, we had a good time. I was with my guy Bink, and we had a 2024 NFL season preview. A lot of fun, you know, a lot of good stuff in that episode. It's still relevant. And, of course, we, predicted week one, and we talked about the Thursday night game and the Friday night game as well. But we're back another episode, man. As I mentioned, I was with Bink last week, and as you can see by looking at the visuals, he's back with me again. So I want to welcome my brother Bink back, man. 2 weeks in a row.
What's up, man? I told you I'm ready anytime you need me.
Yes, sir. I love that. He was ready, man. He pulled up on me straight out of Morgan State. Go Bears. He pulled up on me 2 weeks in a row. So we're going to lock in, man. We're going to have a fun episode. So real quick, I want to just talk about week one, talk about what we didn't talk about. Obviously, talk about the games we predicted, man. But we're going to it's going to be real fast because I don't want to spend too much time on the past. I want to focus on the future. Obviously, week two already kicked off with the Bills smacking the Dolphins the other night. But what'd you think about Browns-Cowboys week one, man? What'd you think about that?
It was a fantastic game, man. I mean,
he's a Cowboys fan, by the way, ladies and gentlemen.
The Cowboys defense came out and set the tone, and I feel like the offense just played complimentary football. They didn't put the defense in a bad spot. I saw something crazy on YouTube. This guy said Deshaun Watson might be a better person than he is an NFL quarterback, and that might ring true at this point. He looked horrible.
Yeah, he looked bad,
to say the least. And the Browns defense, it was low-key getting ran on, and the Cowboys offense, it's not built to run the football, so that was a surprise. But yeah, that's all I got to say pretty much.
Shout
for
out
the
to
Cowboys.
Zeke, man. Hurdle on his first touch, man.
I was so mad when I got called back.
Shout out to Zeke, man. But Cowboys, they smacked them Browns up, man. Let's move on to another game in that slate. About to mention two teams that play on Sunday against each other because we just talked about Cowboys-Browns, but Saints-Panthers last week, man, absolute blowout. Last week I talked about how the Panthers are going to quantify a successful season based on what they see from Bryce Young.
I'm about to say it's not even a whole team. It's just a Bryce Young thing.
That's the only way they're gonna deem, like, if Bryce, obviously the Panthers are gonna be terrible. If they lose to the Saints like that, they should not have many wins at all this year. But they're gonna have to judge if their season's good based on Bryce Young's play. And not looking good so far after 1 week.
They have like a top 5 offensive line of football when it comes to like their offensive linemen getting paid the most, and it just doesn't look like it out there.
I know they spending some money on the O-line this offseason, but it didn't look good, man.
And then the defense took a major hit. Derrick Brown's out for the season. May get well soon.
Yeah, that's a big loss there.
Probably their best player on the team.
I was going to say that's the best player on the team. So when you're the Carolina Panthers, you already don't have a good roster. And you're losing guys already. It's not a good sign. Let's continue to talk about week one real quick. Keep going. With a quick recap, Bills-Cardinals, that was one of the better games.
It was a fun one.
Week one.
Like I said the Bills are going to go as far as Josh Allen took them last week, and he took them pretty far this week. I mean, he had, 4 total touchdowns last week? It was they started off pretty slow, but the defense locked in the second half, and Josh Allen locked in the second half. My guy Khalil Shakir got involved. He got a touchdown. And, I mean, the Bills are, at this point, the team to beat in the AFC East.
I can stamp that, especially after seeing them whoop up on the Dolphins the other night as well. Let's talk about probably the biggest upset of week one, Patriots-Bengals. What did you make of that game? Are you overreacting to it, or are you going to properly react to it? Because, a lot of people expect the Patriots to be one of the worst teams, if not the worst teams in pro football this year. So what do you think about the Bengals losing? Obviously, this is, guys who they had a lot of drama going around their camp. Jamar Chase still hasn't got that bag.
T. Higgins is trying to play on the favorite franchise tag.
So a lot of noise. Obviously, those guys didn't play in preseason. So I think those reps are necessary. And I think it showed in a big way as they lost to New England 16-10. But what do you make of that game?
Under Zach Taylor, Cincinnati's always been a team that start out kind of slow. I mean, at least for the start of the season. But it is a little bit I don't feel great about them.
It's a little concerning, yeah.
It's the Patriots out of all teams.
It's the lowest. Like I said, it's a team that's expected to be the worst team in pro football, if not, one of the worst, if not the worst.
I know I said that their defense wasn't going to be as good, but the loss of DJ Reader was evident. Ramondre Stevenson ran all over them.
Yeah, he did.
They was pretty much just controlling the game, controlling the tempo. And I know the Bengals, they had a drop touchdown by Mike Gesicki, and I think it was Andre Yoshivas who fumbled at the 1 yard line. So they had their opportunities. I mean, they easily could have won the game.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm not too crazy overreacting about them, but I think it's a good chance they start out 0-2 this year. Again, I think that's going to be tough.
They got the Chiefs week 2. So that's going to be interesting. Vikings Giants. Final score in that one was 28-6.
We don't got to talk about that.
We don't got to talk about it. Cool. If I was me, I was hoping you didn't. Bears Titans. This game. Let's talk about that one real fast because the Titans they had the upper hand, and we were all Salman too. We was all bullish on the Titans last week.
They should have won the game.
Yeah, they definitely should have won the game.
It was up 17-0.
If you told me Caleb Williams would pass for under 100 yards. I would have for sure said, I'm putting my life savings on the Titans.
Yo, Titans head coach Brian Callahan had a hilarious quote this week. He said, we would have did better in the second half if we just punted the ball on first down on every possession. Which probably would have been true.
Which was true.
They gave up, a punter, a block punt touchdown, a pick six, and I believe it was another defensive score.
Yeah, it was nuts. It was nuts. Another game that was on last week when you were here, Steelers Falcons. Chris Boswell, he scored all the points for the Steelers last week. I think many agreed. I think you said the Steelers were going to win it last week as well. That Arthur Smith game.
We all kind of felt it. Was a little bit. I didn't really like Atlanta, picking them to begin the season because their defense, like I said, it will be locks in the middle of the field. I don't know if you saw Justin Fields' passing chart, but it was all down the left and right sideline.
I did see that.
But Jesse Bates and Justin Simmons will do their thing in the middle of the field, but they can be attacked everywhere else. Their outside corners, AJ Terrell had a rough day in the offense.
I picked Falcons win the division.
Yeah, we both did.
Hey, Saints beat the Cowboys Sunday.
That's not happening. But Najee Harris had his way pretty much with.
Hey, hold on. No, we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that Saints Cowboys game. I think I want to do a little wager on that.
But Najee Harris pretty much had his way with Atlanta's defense, and Arthur Smith actually designed a good run game. I mean, Justin Fields, in my opinion, he did what he needed to. I mean, he obviously did what he needed to do to win the game, and he's going to be starting again this week. So I think it's going to be an interesting test to see him against Denver's defense. But I don't got much to say. The pass rush wasn't there for Atlanta, and Kirk Cousins looked like a statue in the pocket.
He did. He didn't look good. Next game for last Sunday, Jaguars Dolphins. That was one of the better games. Dolphins pulled
another
away
game
late.
Jacksonville should have easily won.
Yeah, Jaguars. That's why I picked them to finish last in the division. No, I'm just playing, but they had that one. That's all I'm gonna say. But final score now was 2017. We had some more games. Texans Colts. That was another game.
That was a really good one. That was a fun one.
That might have been the best game last Sunday, at least in the 1 o'clock window.
Yo, that boy Anthony Richardson completed 9 passes for over 200 yards.
And he should have passed for at least easily 300.
He should have
passed for easily 300.
That's why I'm so bullish on them because if Anthony Richardson could just hit the easy stuff, and I know that's probably easier said than done, especially for a guy like him.
Yeah.
But if he could just hit the easy stuff, he would be the offense would just be crazy.
Yeah. No, I agree. Couple more games last Sunday. How about Jim Harbaugh getting his first win last week? As the Chargers head coach, final score was 22-10. They got the run game going really well. J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards, Greg Roman's offensive coordinator. But it looked like the way they won reminded me of Michigan football last year. It looked just like that. Justin Herbert didn't have to do a lot. He just kind of had to, manage the game. And obviously he's more than a game manager based on stuff that we've seen from him. But the game plan just worked beautifully for the Chargers last week.
The Chargers just did the 2 things they couldn't do under Brandon Staley, which was play hard defense and run the ball, and that's exactly what they got to.
Manage the game.
That's exactly what they got to immediately. Even Christian Wilkins, and I want to shout out Joe Alt, their first round pick. Yeah. He handled his own against Max Crosby this weekend.
We call him Joe Alt Delete.
Yeah.
I seen that on Twitter.
Yeah. Christian Wilkins didn't have that big of an impact either. I mean, the Raiders they kind of looked bad. Antonio Pierce, he had an interesting decision. I believe it was 4th and 1 at like the 40-something yard line, and he elected to punt down 6. And I'm just like, you're in the fourth quarter, you got to play to win at that point. And I just like, I know they love him in Vegas, but if he continues to make decisions like that, I mean,
that's going to turn a lot of people off for sure.
Essentially is, especially because he has his identity about being this. I feel like he's more of like a Dan Campbell type of coach and not an X's and O's type of coach, in my opinion.
That's real. Listen, another game in the 4 o'clock window, Commanders Buccaneers. It was final score was 37-20, but it's like at least in the first half, that game it could have been a lot closer. You had the York missed field goals. They kind of just deflated some drives, and when you're not putting points on the board, defense is getting tired. Defense is they don't got the same rah-rah to go out there and be motivated when the offense isn't, putting up points. But the game, at least the first half, was a lot closer than the final score indicated. I saw some things I like from Jaden Daniels because when you play against the Buccaneers, you play against Todd Bowles, you're going to see a lot of blitzing. And they sent it all at him, blitzes from everywhere. And he was able to, move around in the pocket, take off when he needed to. I would like to see him hit some of those throws to Terry McLaurin, which I think, Terry's going to have a better game on Sunday, and they're probably going to get him involved early and often. I would think Cliff Kingsbury would, elect to try to do that. But I was impressed. I saw some things I like from Jaden Daniels, getting the ball out, running when he needed to, also protecting himself as well. I think that's pretty key, especially when you're a rookie quarterback. You want to have those good habits.
He needs to get a tighter helmet.
You said what?
He needs to get a tighter helmet.
Yeah, his helmet was coming off. But overall, like I said, really can say, I was impressed, even though the team lost 37-20. But I saw some things from him that I'm like, okay, like he looks polished, like he looks poised out there. Like I saw that, but I got to give credit when credit is due. Baker Mayfield, he looked spectacular. He evaded a lot of sacks, made a lot of good throws, made some really good decisions with the football, and Buccaneers, they played well, man. They won the game. So
even though I think Tampa's a good offense, I will say this about the Commanders: this might be. It's not going to be the worst defense in football because Carolina's still a team, but it might be right down there when it comes to like one of the worst defenses in football, especially in the secondary. Man, we talk about Emmanuel Forbes. I know he's out for a minute. He had surgery on his thumb or something. Yeah, but Benjamin St. Juste didn't look good. It was just the secondary just looked horrible, and it's like if you're not able to get pressure with your front four and the secondary is that bad, a lot of teams are going to go for a lot of good days.
They actually were getting some pressure, but they just couldn't bring Baker Mayfield down. It was crazy. Yeah. He escaped like maybe 3 or 4 sacks, bro.
That's Baker Mayfield. Just imagine when you get
exactly. It's not a good sign. If that's Baker Mayfield, like wait till you see like a 6'5" quarterback like Anthony Richardson type, when you can't bring him down.
Y'all play the Browns this year? Y'all do.
They play the Browns?
Deshaun Watson is going. I'm not gonna lie. Deshaun Watson was escaping a lot of sacks from Michael Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence.
He was.
I would be scared when y'all play them.
For sure.
He might not complete the pass, but
for sure. A couple other games we don't have to really touch on because I really want to get into week 2. But the Sunday nighter was really good. Rams Lions last week. That was a good game. Went to overtime. What did you think about that one? Puka Nacua obviously going to miss some time. What did you think about that one from the Lions? I thought it was a really good win, but the game obviously could have went either way.
I just feel like they could have imposed their will a little bit earlier. Obviously, in overtime, we got a lot of David Montgomery just running the ball down the Rams' throat. And I just feel like that could have happened a little bit earlier. I mean, they won, so a win is a win, obviously. But I just feel like they could have got out on the Rams a little bit earlier and had this game done by like the third quarter.
I can agree with that.
Let the Rams stick in the game.
Shout out Jameson Williams. He had a nice game.
Shout out Cooper Kupp.
Oh, Cooper Kupp. Hey, that's my guy, Mike's guy right there. Curry in the Pot, Draft Sleeper alumni right there. I got to toot my horn every time. Hey, go listen to that episode, man. It was probably my first 15 episodes. I talked about Cooper Kupp back in 2017, but Lions got it done. Then a Monday nighter, which came with some controversy pregame. Christian McCaffrey not playing, Jordan Mason getting the start for the 49ers. They imposed their will on the Jets all night long. The Jets, they looked sharp in the first quarter, but that was that was it. You know, in first quarter, you know, obviously first drives and early drives, that stuff is scripted. As far as adjustments, you know, they didn't do enough, and they just couldn't stop the run. If you can't stop the run, it's going to be hard. You're going to be hard pressed to win. Win football games.
Did you see Aaron Rodgers' passing chart?
I didn't.
It was all to the left side of the field. So people are trying to say that like Charvarius Ward was taking away the right side of the field completely, which
really?
I don't know how true that was. But Garrett Wilson was normally lined up on the other side of the field away from him. So
that's interesting. Because I didn't see the chart, but that's very interesting. But 49ers, they got it done. Like I said, they was able to run the ball effectively. Jordan Mason had a breakout game. You know, Debo had a couple carries and stuff like that. But you know, they look sharp. You know, it just looked like Kyle Shanahan offense.
There was one game we didn't touch on.
Which one?
Seattle beat the
There was
Broncos.
a couple I skipped, but that is one of them I didn't talk about. Seattle, Denver. I don't really had too many thoughts from that game. What are your thoughts on that game?
Seattle's defense looked great.
I think I knew that's where you were going.
Anytime you have a quarterback throw the ball 42 times and he only ends up with 138 passing yards, you're doing something well. No, it was so bad for the point where Bo Nix, where the commentator literally said, "Oh no," as he threw a pass into triple coverage.
That's bad. That's bad.
And the Broncos thing was they were supposed to be able to run the ball this year, but both their running backs combined for like 2.6 yards a carry, and it's just not going to get it done, in my opinion.
2.6 is nasty.
It was bad. Literally, if they didn't have the two safeties and Geno Smith set them up for an easy field goal, this game could have got real ugly real quick.
For sure. All right, so let's move on to week 2. Obviously, it started already. As I mentioned before, Bills blew out the Dolphins.
Were we both on the Bills? I know I picked the Bills.
I didn't even remember. Remember we was on the game that day, and I was like, "Yo, why can't I pick a tie on CBS?"
Yeah, you was.
I didn't really declare a winner. I was leaning Dolphins though, so I'm not gonna take tremendous credit. I'm not gonna take any credit. Yeah,
I hope he gets well.
Yeah, Tua get well soon. But before Tua got injured, he did not look
bad.
good. He did not look good. I hope he gets well too. I hope he get well, brother. But he did not play well.
It was bad.
At all.
He played
terrible.
You know what's bad? Because I don't usually tweet from my Twitter account. I normally just sit back and observe. But that second interception, I said miscommunication or not, a 50-50 jump ball to Robbie Chosen was still a bad decision. regardless if he ain't run the right route. That was just
chill. He like 6'4", bro.
Nah, not anymore. Maybe if this was like
he like
2019.
He like 6'4",
we're in the big 2024. That's not a good decision. The Bills defense looked good, and that's supposed to be like the weak point of their team.
Yeah.
They was able to run the ball effectively. James Cook had a phenomenal day.
He did 3 touchdowns, hat trick.
Had him on my fantasy team, so you know that felt a little good.
Yeah, I know it had to feel good. Even if you had Achane though, he had a good game. Yeah, he had a good fantasy game.
Yeah, in my cash league, I'm going up against Devon Achane, but I still got James Cook, so it kind of balances out.
Definitely balance out. But.
So yeah, I mean their passing game looked good. They got Dalton Kincaid involved, which they didn't do last week. That's a good sign. Khalil Shakir again had another good game. I know you don't really like Keon Coleman.
Hey bro, listen. Listen, I think he's a cool guy. He has a nice personality. But you know me, I'm not really a fan, and I'm not saying obviously taller receivers aren't gonna be, you know, the most gifted at route running and stuff like that. That's just not realistic. But he just has slow footwork. I'm not really a fan of him. I think a lot of people like him because he got a good personality, and you know that's cool. But I don't think he's all that for real. But you know, good luck to him the rest of his rookie season. I think that Josh Allen has to do a better job of targeting him. He only had one target. So I don't like I said, I gotta watch the all 22 to see if like was he getting clamped up? Was Josh Allen not looking his way? Make sure both. Like I gotta look at that.
NFL right now is a copycat league, like we say, and I think it was like a 60% rate they was running cover two, like 2 high safeties. That's supposed to take away a lot of the big plays. So I think we're going to see it's going to be a lot of dinking and dunking this year and getting the ball underneath. So yes, I think that has something to do with it as well. Yes, sir.
Oh, I didn't even shout out my guy Soundman behind the lens today. Shout out my guy Soundman. He's saluting to Michigan right now. As they're playing Arkansas State. But shout out Soundman, he's in the building back-to-back weeks. Shout out to him. Go blue for his sake. Yeah, you know I ain't saying that for mine. But yeah, let's move on to the rest of the week 2 slate. So Sunday, Giants Commanders. the Commanders have lost. I think it's 7 straight. Was it 7 straight, Automatic? 7 straight games. They lost.
At home? Yeah.
At home, dating back to last year. It was, they only won the season opener versus the home opener versus the Cardinals last year. That was their only home win. So now they're trying to end the streak. You gotta win at home. You know, obviously winning at home is important. You're just standing wise, but for a team that's trying to get their fan base back into things, you gotta win at home. I'm interested to see how it's gonna look at Northwest Stadium. They calling it now. It's not FedEx no more. So hopefully they can beat the Giants, a team they haven't beat since January of 2022. Man. So. Listen, if the Commanders cannot do anything with Daniel Jones, it's already gonna be a long season. But if they can't keep Daniel Jones in check, it's gonna be a nasty season. But I do think this game will be closer than people think, just because of the Giants' front seven. They have some guys up there: Dexter Lawrence, Brian Burns, as well as Kayvon Thibodeau. So I'm gonna be looking at the trench battle very closely in this game. Bink, what you think about this one?
I'm not gonna lie, I've been going back and forth on this one.
I have too.
I can see.
Because I think the trench battle is really gonna be the deciding factor in this game.
Dexter Lawrence had a 70% pressure rate last week.
That's nuts. That's ridiculous.
He only had 1 sack, but he had a 70% pressure rate. That's ridiculous. And now he's going up against the Commanders guards. It's like that's a tough matchup. And I also think Malik Neighbors can really take advantage of the Washington secondary. I feel like he could get loose a few times, but it's like
Matic agrees. He alluded to, Malik Neighbors is one of the guys he's targeting for receptions, receiving yards, a touchdown as well.
It's all going to come down to if Daniel Jones can get him the ball. Because one thing, as a Cowboys fan, Dan Quinn was our defensive coordinator for a minute, and one thing he can do is scheme against Daniel Jones. He never has good games against the Cowboys, but I don't know if he has the personnel with Washington to actually apply his scheme. So I am really going back and forth. I think Jaden Daniels is going to have a good day, but I might be leaning Giants.
I'm not mad at it.
There's one glaring stat.
Let's hear it.
Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
5-1-1 against the Commanders.
That's crazy, right?
All time.
That's crazy, right?
I'll just leave it.
So it's like it's so many narratives and counter narratives in this game. Like I said, the Commanders have not beaten the Giants since January of 2022. One of those games following that was a tie. That game was terrible. But Daniel Jones hasn't had a lot of success in the NFL. Is very successful against Washington. And this is a Commanders team, like I said, who only won one home game last year, and that was week 1 against the Cardinals. So it's like
I'm going Giants.
It's honestly, if you're gonna bet this, just find something else to bet on, bro, or take wager on the total. But I'm leaning Commanders right now. I'm gonna take Commanders just for the sake of prediction, though, since we got to do one. Yeah. Next game, Raiders Ravens. Spread in this one is 8.5. I believe it opened at 7.5. You got a West Coast team flying East Coast to play at 1 o'clock. That's something I always look at. You got the Ravens coming off that game against the Chiefs, which they lost. So they got the extra rest as well. They got the rest advantage. I'm going with the Ravens to win this game because I think that they can implement a lot of what the Chargers was able to do successfully last week with running the football. I think this is a game, might see a 100-yard game from Derrick Henry, maybe 2 touchdowns type of game. Lamar Jackson getting involved, obviously running the football. I think the Raiders, they're going to come in and still play hard, but like I said, the Ravens, they like to run the ball. For whatever reason, they didn't like doing it in the AFC Championship, but they like to run the football. So this plays right into their hand, and I think they can replicate that game plan that the Chargers implemented last week. So what do you think?
I mean, I think the Ravens win this game easily, like you alluded to. I think we get a big Derrick Henry week. Mm-hmm. I also think Zay Flowers could be in for a big week, too.
Yeah.
I feel like we're going to see this a lot this week with a lot of the offensive coordinators because a lot of the big-name guys, they didn't really have big weeks like Devontae Adams and Amon-Ra St. Brown, who I think we're going to get to a little bit later, Chris Olave as well. So I think we are going to see a lot of Devontae Adams early.
Yeah.
I don't know how often he'll get involved, but I think we will at least see him get targeted a lot early. If that's an angle you want to bet on. But like I said, the Ravens should win this one pretty easily. I'm not going to lie.
For sure. Ravens home opener, so it's going to be rocking in there. Next game.
Yeah. I'm not going out tomorrow. That's what that means.
This game kind of nasty, I'm not going to lie. Browns at Jaguars. Nasty stuff, nasty Clemson stuff. Deshaun Watson going up against Trevor Lawrence. Dang, I don't even know about this game,
I'll
bro.
start.
Yeah, please.
I'm gonna take Jacksonville. Like I said, Jacksonville was able to run the ball against Miami. I don't think it would be a problem that much running the ball against Cleveland. I think they could take advantage of some big plays down the field. Cleveland is susceptible to bigger receivers, so guys like Brian Thomas Jr. and Gabe Davis going down the field. I feel like they could take their shots there. I mean, Christian Kirk's going to work his magic in the slot, but Greg Newsome looked phenomenal. I will say that. He looked phenomenal guarding
I like
CeeDee
Greg
Lamb.
Newsome.
He had a bad season last year, and it's good to see him bounce back, but yeah, I just don't think the Browns are going to be able to get much going offensively, and I think that's what it comes down to. If they can't run the ball, they're not going to be effective, even with guys like Amari Cooper and Jerry Jeudy and Elijah Moore and David Njoku's out for this game, but even when they had him, they're just not. If they're not going to be able to run the ball, they're not going to be good.
Sounds like an uphill battle for the Browns. We know Deshaun Watson hasn't been playing well for some time, but we'll see how this game goes. I'm gonna take the Jaguars as well, just because I gotta see something from the Browns. Like, I watched the film on Deshaun Watson last week, and there were reads to be had on the film.
Yeah.
He just was doing the exact opposite.
I don't know if you saw,
Of what
but
should have been done.
It was back-to-back plays where he was targeting the sideline to Amari Cooper and Jerry Jeudy, and it looked like he was throwing the ball away both times, but he was trying to get those two guys down the field.
This stuff hurts my soul because I was a big Deshaun Watson fan, but this next game should be an interesting one. Next game, Jets at Titans.
Oh my God! And you know how I talked about the Titans in the opening season preview and how I expect them to beat the Bears. I want to lean Titans, but I'm just like,
too.
Will Levis just didn't give me anything week one.
Yeah.
And it's like, do I trust Will Levis or Aaron Rodgers? I think I trust Aaron Rodgers more.
For sure.
But the Titans offense, it looked. If you go back and watch the film, their run game looks amazing. Tony Pollard looked phenomenal. I believe they could get Tajay Spears involved. They'll be good again. They come from that same, San Francisco tree. So,
Yeah.
I could see them being able to run the ball effectively against the Jets, but I just don't know if that's going to be enough. At the end of the day, Will Levis is going to have to make a play or two. And it's not like they don't have weapons. I mean, they got Calvin Ridley, they got DeAndre Hopkins, Tyler Boyd's there, Chigga Conquo. That's not his name.
It's not. It is his name.
Okay.
It's Chigga Conquo.
Okay, I'm tripping. Chigga Conquo, he had a touchdown last week. I mean, the offensive line looked good. I mean, it's everything's there. If Will Levis is able to put it together, I can see the Titans winning the game. However, I'm going with the Jets.
I'm picking Titans. I don't know why, but what happened last week is still totally inexcusable. But this game is interesting because it was kind of like this. I don't want to say Aaron Rodgers looked washed. I want to attribute last week to, he hasn't played in X amount of days.
He's a 40-year-old coming off an Achilles injury.
Yeah, he's coming off an Achilles. So I'm not gonna sit up here and say he's washed and look terrible because he didn't play preseason either, right?
No.
So you got that was a game about reps. You got to have reps. Guys are not getting their reps in, and it's really gonna show week 1 and week 2. But it showed for a lot of guys last week. But I'm gonna take the Titans at home. You say they didn't show for the Cowboys?
That's a show for the Cowboys.
I thought you said, I'm about to say, damn, right?
No, it's show for them.
I was say, you
Especially offensively.
I was say, you really feeling the Cowboys?
No.
Drinking
Next game,
the Titan Kool-Aid.
you say you drinking the Titans Kool-Aid?
Drinking Kool-Aid.
That's right, man. Home opener in Nissan Stadium, man. Cashville. Next game, 49ers Vikings. I like this matchup.
Shout out my guy Justin Jefferson. They asked him.
You got the hoodie on, man.
I do
Show
got the
the
Justin
people you got
Jefferson
the hoodie on, man.
But they asked him, will they be able to shut him down like they shut down Garrett Wilson? He said, respectfully, I'm not Garrett Wilson.
I love the way he said it too. Because if you see the quote, it sounded harsh, but when I listened to it, he just said it in a chill voice. He's like, respectfully, I'm not Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, I mean,
Which is true. He's not. He's Justin Jefferson, 1-on-1, best receiver
Minnesota
in pro
beat San
football.
Fran last year. Granted, it was without Trent Williams and Deebo Samuel, but they beat them last year. And this year is going to be without Christian McCaffrey. But I think I'm going to rock with San Fran in this one. I mean, I still think they're going to be able to run the ball with Jordan Mason. And I think they should be able to take advantage of the Vikings corners outside of Stephon Gilmore, who still looks phenomenal at his old age. But Yeah.
This game is kind of it appears to be an interesting game, especially when I look at the spread at 4.5.
It might be a big Justin Jefferson week though. No Jordan Addison this week too.
I could see it. He has to do it. He has to do it. Because obviously T.J. Hawkinson's still out too.
Yeah.
So that's a big weapon for them. But I said I like this game because of the offensive minds in this game. Kevin O'Connell, Kyle Shanahan. I like the game from that standpoint. It should be a lot of creativity offensively. Should be two teams trying to establish the run as well. But I'm looking at seeing how Brandon Ayuk performs. Obviously, didn't play. He obviously got a fair amount of snaps, but he didn't play his normal snaps last week. And we saw the drop in the end zone.
Yeah.
Peyton Manning was pissed. If you watched the Manning cast, he was upset. He was like, "This is why guys got to be in training camp," because that was a give me touchdown right there in that game. But I'm looking to see how. I just want to see the 49ers offense, especially Ayuk though, since he, all the drama, all the holdout drama. But I expect the 49ers to get this one done. But it is going to be rocking in Minnesota, man. I'm not going to lie. But Sam Darnold playing against his old team as well. That's another interesting matchup. So obviously, Kyle Shanahan, he's seen him. So we'll see how this game goes. But I'm gonna take 49ers as well. But the spread makes me look at this game. It's like, kind of interesting. Next game, Chargers Panthers. We don't have to spend a ton of time on this one, but I gotta keep it real though. And as I mentioned with the Ravens and Raiders game, it's another West Coast team flying East Coast to play at 1:00. But I think Harbaugh's gonna have these boys ready.
I don't think it matters when the talent discrepancy is.
Yeah, the talent discrepancy is crazy because the Chargers have always been a team that had a talented roster.
Yeah,
always. The talent has never been the Chargers' problem. It was always coaching, pretty much.
Mac
to me.
and Joey Bosa might smack this boy Bryce Young around.
Yeah, They let Alontae Taylor get 3 sacks last week.
Yo, that was ridiculous.
Off design blitzes, but yeah.
J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards might both go for 100 yards as well.
Hey yo,
Derek Brown had 105 tackles last year, and they were still the worst run defense.
Yeah, no, Derek Brown. It's gonna start the show for real, especially when you got a coach who likes to run the football. That's their style. That's the Harbaugh way to run the football, establish the run. And obviously Justin Herbert's gonna make some throws with his arms, but yeah, I feel like.
Justin Herbert could throw the ball 7 times and they could win this game.
Another thing is, I feel like when you traveling west to east and you're playing at 1:00, having a good run game, an effective run game helps you.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. That helps, and that's gonna travel. And I think the front 7, as you said, Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack, that's gonna travel as well. So I'm going Chargers as well.
You see what the I know we already talked about it, but you see what the Jets Titans line is?
3.5. This 3.5 on the road doesn't cover. Word the road. Oh man, didn't even look at that. Okay, interesting. Next game, Seahawks Patriots. This game kind of nasty. I'm not gonna lie. I'm leaning under.
Yeah,
leaning under 38.5 as we speak.
The over under 38.
Yeah, 38.5.
That is nasty work. I mean, I'm interested to see Christian Gonzalez in this game. He did a pretty good job on Jamar Chase. I know. I forgot what I texted you what exactly said.
Hey, hold on. Hey, I know he did great, but there was a play where Jamar Chase destroyed him.
I mean, yeah, it's football.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. I know a lot of the stats are misleading. I think they said he was like 4 for 14 going up against him, but there was a play where he destroyed them, and I think Joe Burrow was under pressure or something like that.
But it was like that last year. I mean, with Christian Gonzalez, he did a good job.
He's good though. He's good. I'm not trying to say he's bad.
His second career game, he did a really good job against Tyreek Hill. I mean, it was probably his best job you could do against Tyreek Hill. And I remember the Cowboys game last year. As soon as he got out, we immediately targeted his backup. That was actually ridiculous.
That's funny.
But I think it's gonna be an interesting matchup between him and DK. But where I do think Seattle gets them is they got Tyler Lockett, they got Jackson Smith and Jigba.
When is my guy Jackson Smith and Jigba gonna break out?
I don't know, man.
They saying it's supposed to be the year. Well, show me. Especially if Christian Gonzalez getting the DK matchup. That should be some real opportunity
this week.
Yeah, no Kenneth Walker this week as well. Is it weird to say I'm leaning Patriots?
I mean,
That's nasty. But like I said, I heavily lean to the under.
if they can run the ball and play complimentary football,
But I
can
gotta
see
pick a
them.
winner though, so I'm gonna pick Patriots. I have to pick a winner.
I'm gonna pick Seattle.
All right, cool. Ooh, next game. Saints, Cowboys in Dallas. Line is 6.
The home opener.
Home opener for the Cowboys. Let's talk about this game. Me and you could actually spend some time on it because we've been talking all week. We've been talking all freaking week. Your family been talking to me. I said I was gonna be unbearable if the Saints beat the Cowboys, and I'm staying true to that. I will be unbearable if the Saints do win. But let's talk about this game, man. What you think's gonna happen? I already know what you think, but for the people,
I do think it's gonna. I want to start with the Saints a little bit because I do think it's gonna be. I think we're gonna get a big Chris Olave week. I can't lie. The Cowboys always struggle with speed of the
so I should
receiver.
start him in fantasy. You saying?
The Cowboys, I did put him out as a start this week. The Cowboys always struggle with speed of the receiver position, and the thing is, Trayvon Diggs, he's not a corner that travels.
I got him in, y'all. I don't know if y'all can see. I got Chris Olave in already.
Trayvon Diggs, he's not a corner that travels a lot, and Chris Olave lines up on the opposite side of him 75% of the time. So I do think Kalen Carson's going to get tested a lot this week, and I do think he might fall to some maybe underthrown PIs at Derek Carr. You know, that's his specialty.
Ayo.
But eventually, I think Chris Olave is going to have a big game. Like I said, I think we're going to get a lot of the bigger name receivers in early and often this week. So I do see that aspect of it. It's going to come down to, in my opinion, if the Saints can run the football. And I think it's going to be an interesting test because the Saints offensive coordinator is Clint Kubiak. He's another one of the Shanahan guys. We know the Cowboys defense in the past has struggled with the Shanahan tree extensively.
That's true. You know, dating back years now. Last year, Packers in the playoffs. You know, obviously the struggles with Kyle Shanahan, San Fran. Yeah,
but that was under Dan Quinn. I do want to see how Mike Zimmer comes out because one thing I will say, this team was.
I like Mike Zimmer. That's our guy Mark P's former bestie in the Tessie. Shout out to him. That's his old bestie right there. Mike Zimmer covered the spreads.
I will say the defense though, it was fast and physical, and if it can present that same form of physicality, you know, this isn't Carolina over here.
Yeah,
this is a way different test. So if Micah and the linebacking core specifically with Eric Kendricks and Overshown, if they can set the tone defensively, I can see it not being as bad as the Cleveland game because I think Derek Carr is a better quarterback than Deshaun Watson, but I can see the Cowboys kind of running away with this one. And you know, that's what they like. This is what they like to do. They like to get up early and beat on teams at home. So,
all right, so I can see this game going a couple of different ways. I can definitely, for sure, see the Cowboys smacking the Saints. But this is also, and it's early, which I don't like. But this is normally a spot where the Cowboys, they just smack the Browns, so they have a letdown game, and they come out flat.
No, our letdown game is going to be against Carolina this year.
Chill out.
I already know it. Because that's late in the season, right before the playoffs.
Which I know. But you go to Cowboys, 27-13. But you go to Cowboys be having those letdown games. Oh my God, we smacked the Browns. We did this. We got paid. CD got paid. Oh my God, home opener. And then you come out flat. You go 3-0 on the opening drive.
I thought that was going to be last week. We went 3-0 early last week, and I was like, man.
But for real, you come out flat. You go 3-0 on the opening drive. Saints come down the field. Nice 75-yard drive. Cap off with a Kamara touchdown. Like it. Oh man, you got a microphone. Tell me you can't see that.
I can see it.
But I can see so many different things.
But also, my thing about this. It's really for the Saints, because the Saints just destroyed niggas. So it's just like, are you really about to do this again?
That's true.
Play formidable again? So I don't got much for it, but I do like hearing an Olave day.
Yeah,
I already have a Sedarian day, so we can.
I love hearing that. I really hope to see an Olave day at the worst, and I love to see a Chase Young day. Chase Young gets a sack. Turn your phone off. Go ahead and cut your phone off, bro. I'm gonna blow your phone up, bro, because Chase Young, quiet as kept, and I know it's the Panthers, so I'm not going to be like, oh my God, he had 7 pressures, but he had 7 pressures last week. You guys got young tackles on the offensive line, so You know, I really think the battle is going to be in the trenches. You know, Cam Jordan, Carl Granderson, Chase
Saints
Young.
right tackle Talisa Fuaga's out for this matchup.
Oh, he's out?
Yeah.
Oh, they said he was showing a lot of promise. You know, I follow the Saints beat writers and stuff like that. So
Micah had 11 last week.
I think the trenches battle is going to be important in this game. As I mentioned in the earlier game, that trench battle is going to be important. But I think this one's going to be really big. You know, obviously you got Michael Parsons, who, you know, if he plays it like he did last week, going to be the decoy. But it's going to be, I think it's going to be a good game. But I was saying, I want to talk about this game. Like, you want a chicken sandwich on the Jill?
Of course.
On the 6? Got you at 6?
Of course.
Okay. We on the 6, man. I'm on Saints plus the 6. Bink's on Cowboys minus 6.
This Jamal Williams garbage time touchdown is going to kill me.
Yo, Taysom Hill anytime. But we'll see, man. But this is going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I hope it is.
The Saints are going to come out and try to run the ball, though. That's exactly what they're going to do.
Should. But yeah, next game. For second prediction, I am taking the Saints, though, because I got to pick a winner.
I'm taking Dallas.
Next game, Buccaneers, Lions.
This is an interesting one.
This was a playoff rematch, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What was it? Divisional round?
Tampa Bay almost made the NFC Championship.
Yeah. This is a rematch of the divisional round last year. Should be a really good one. Lions are favored by 7.5. Dan Campbell, he do be covering, but this game it's an interesting game, man. I think this is probably one of the better games in week 2. How you feel about this
I think
one?
we're gonna get a lot of points in this game. I will say that.
Let's see the total.
It's 51.5. I'm looking at right here.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know if we're gonna get the over, but
the total does indicate that, and it's interesting too because usually when games have a low total and a team just went crazy because the Buccaneers scored 37. So if the total was like 43.5, like, oh yeah, it seemed like under. But the total being 51.5, with, you know, both teams combining for over that last week, I think that bodes well. I think that's an interesting look.
We're in for another big Chris Olave week as well. I mean, not Chris Olave, Chris Godwin.
Chris Godwin, yeah, I can see that. He had a nice, really nice week last week. He was working out. Sanders still working out. Forbes working out. I seen Noah Ignagami in there a little bit, working him out too.
It might have just been a Cooper Kupp thing, but the Lions, excuse me, they were giving it up to the slot last year, and I think it's going to happen again this week. I think we're going to get a big Chris Godwin week. However, I am going with the Lions in this one. I just think they're the better football team. They're going to be able to run the ball. I don't know if the Buccaneers are going to be able to do it with Rashad White.
They should be able to shut that run game down.
Yeah, I mean, they were able to shut down Coburn last week pretty much, so yeah. I don't see why. If they make Tampa one-dimensional, it's going to be hard for them to win. However, that is where Detroit's deficiencies lie. That's in the secondary. So, like I said, I think it's going to be a fun one, but I think Detroit is just going to be able to get like 1 or 2 more stops than Tampa's able to get.
Yeah, I like the Lions as well, especially because I actually watched the Commanders-Buccaneers game, and I saw some things that, like I said, Baker Mayfield had escape artists on, and he was breaking out every sack, and he made some plays with his legs. Like, I think the Lions should be able to take care of these guys, but I do like the over, as you said. I don't know if I'll get with the 7.5. I don't think I can lay that. But I like the over though. But if I had to pick as far as spread, I would take the plus 7.5 for the Bucks. But I like the Lions to win this game though. Next game,
Amon-Ra St. Brown, another guy.
Yeah, he's due for a week. Didn't have the best week last week. Very quiet week for him, and you know he's a guy that
They was on me on TikTok
like
because apparently it wasn't a good idea to say Amon-Ra St. Brown was going to have a good week against the Rams DBs.
Yeah, they had like 6 DBs out. Next game, I think, had Jordan Love been healthy, this would have been one of the better games of the week. But the line is very short.
By 3.5. It's down to 2.5 now.
I'm seeing 3. That's ESPN. But Colts, Packers. As a person who is a fan of both of these teams, this year at least, what do you think about this game?
I know
mine is 3, by the way.
I know it was. That's concerning me a little bit.
Yeah, make you think. Right?
I know it was Philly and they have like the best offensive line in football, Saquon Barkley, but The Colts, Shane Steichen comes from that same tree.
Yeah,
They're going to
sure
want to
does.
run the ball. It's going to be a lot of Jonathan Taylor. It's going to be a lot of Anthony Richardson. Early and often, in my opinion. I mean, I don't think it's going to be that big of a day passing the ball wise from either team, either side at this point. The Colts defense couldn't stop the run either last week. So I do think, what's the over-under in this one? 40.5. I think the game's going to go under.
Okay.
I like the Colts to win it just because Anthony Richardson's healthy. I can't trust Malik Willis-led football team. I think the Packers might be too one-dimensional in this game, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm going to lean with... I'm going to take the Colts in this game, but I think it's going to be a closer game than people think. I think they should... And it's an interesting game. Packers are at home, too. So that's interesting dynamic. But I like the Colts because I think they're going to... I just think they're going to be able to implement their scheme the best. And obviously, Malik Willis gets a full week of practice, but I just don't think Malik Willis is that guy. I'm not going to lie. I'm not the only person that thinks that, but...
We're all shaking our heads in this room.
yeah, literally all three just say, he ain't it. Let's move on, though. I'm taking the Colts, though.
I'm really surprised they didn't at least look at Tannehill.
Something. Next game, interesting. NFC West showdown. Rams, Cardinals.
I was very surprised to see the Cardinals are favored in this game.
Well, the line it says line is pick 'em. So
okay, they originally were like 2.5.
But I think they were. I think Salman mentioned in the chat the other day.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be another big.
Flip like anytime.
Yeah, you did say that. You did mention that in the
It's
chat.
gonna be another big Cooper Cup week, and I like the Cardinals, and I like a lot about what they provide, but they're just more of a scrappy team to me. They're not all the way there yet, and you know me, I'm a big Kyler guy. I think he just normally doesn't have good games against the Rams. I think that had a lot to do with Aaron Donald. Now that he's gone, I want to see how that is. But
shout out
they were able to
verse and what's my other guy? Braden.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie, they were running straight at that man in overtime. They just kept running the same play, running straight at him. He was getting pushed off the ball. But Braden Fisk, shout out him. But if the Rams were able to keep it close with the Lions, why can't they beat the Cardinals?
Yeah, I think it's an instant.
It's a team they own as well.
I'm gonna say the Rams. This is a game that they need to win. As they have
100%.
San Fran in week 3.
They 100% need to win this game.
So they need to win this game. You don't want to lose. You don't want to be 0-2 and then stare 0-3 in the face against San Fran. So I think they really need to win this game. Marvin Harrison Jr. though, I'm expecting you to bounce back this week, brother.
I'm not worried about
the Books
Marvin
did a
Harrison
sweep
Jr.
on you last week, badly. But yeah, I'm expecting a better game from him. I'm actually expecting a really good game, like a late field goal win.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a close one. I just don't see why the Rams should.
This is one of those games that you would like to whoever closes at +1, you would like to tease them up. I think this is one of those games and get +7 on the teaser. But yeah, interesting game. But I'm going with the Rams for sake of prediction. Shout out to my mom. That's her team. Just celebrated her 58th birthday yesterday. So shouts out to my moms. Next game. This is nasty. Steelers Broncos.
Under.
Yeah. This game is nasty, bro. Steelers Broncos in Denver in altitude.
That's not going to matter.
It do give under though. I ain't gonna lie. I can see a lot of Justin Fields running around. Surtain Pickens matchup.
Yeah.
That's popcorn worthy.
I told people to sit Pickens in fantasy, and the dude said, "I'm starting him. I don't care what you say."
Oh my, okay.
I said, all right. I mean, it's your team.
But should be a low scoring affair. When we talk about how the Steelers be having these winning seasons, it's because of games like this. They kind of just win.
They also lose games like this and end up beating the Ravens twice in the same season.
Yeah, it be some weird stuff. But I'm going with Pittsburgh to win this game. What you think?
Pittsburgh should win this game. If Kenneth Walker was able to run all over them, I can see a big Najee Harris day again. I mean, Jalen Ward is going to get some. You know how Arthur Smith is, so Jalen Ward and Cordell Patterson is going to get some work. I don't even think they're going to need to pass the ball that much to win this game. As long as they're going to be able to pin their nose back. T.J. Watt's going to have a big day. Alex Highsmith, Cam Hayward, all their guys are going to have good days.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Will they get their first touchdown this week?
They should.
Will they need to?
Yeah, you need that for morale, bro. It's 2 weeks in and you don't score a touchdown in 2 weeks. That's bad. It certainly
That's
ain't good.
such a Steelers thing to do, though.
It
Them
is.
not scoring touchdowns in the first 2 weeks and being 2-0.
Yeah, definitely. So it sounds like some Steelers stuff like that they're gonna be talking about on the networks. But I'm going Steelers. I'll take it. You are
Like,
too.
just imagine when the team scores.
Next game, Bengals Chiefs.
It's not interesting.
Why not?
I don't think the Bengals are ready at this point to play the Chiefs. Their defense looked horrible last week against the Patriots, and I'm like, Pacheco's going to be able to have his way, and we already know Rasheed Rice is going to eat in the slot. I think they can hit a big play to Xavier Worthy. I think this game is going to be a blowout. I'm not going to lie, especially in Arrowhead.
All right, so with that narrative, Joe Burrow is 3-1 against Patrick Mahomes, including the playoffs. And I know, that this isn't those Bengals teams.
It's
not.
not.
It's a different
Especially
team.
with no T. Higgins.
Yeah, T. Higgins. I think I would be all over the Bengals if T. Higgins was playing. And that's kind of
Oh
crazy.
my God,
to say.
Jermaine Burton has a big game. Receiver from Alabama.
Okay. Sasha plays props.
I said I hope, now he will.
Yeah, but I think Bengals gonna start 0-2.
They did last year.
All right.
They lost to a Cooper Rush-led Cowboys team as well.
They
a few
did.
years back.
They
They started
did.
0-2.
Yeah.
That's just kind of what they do now.
I'm gonna go with the Chiefs here. Like I said, T. Higgins was in. I think that's really important. I would like to see him in there. That would bode well for them because it's not the same Bengals offense that
It's not the same Bengals defense either.
Yeah, it's not. It's not.
2 years ago when they made the Super Bowl, their two best players, Jesse Bates and DJ Reader, both off the team.
Very true.
Yo, they're like broke as a team too. They're selling TVs out their stadium.
I saw that.
And then they had they're having a watch party for this game. You have to pay $100 to get in.
That's crazy.
They're like actually blowing the extra.
I'll just go to Buffalo Wild Wings for that. But I like the Chiefs though. Off the they have the rest advantage as well. They're at the crib as well. So like you said, I like the Chiefs, man, with the extra rest. And honestly, they get up to play the Bengals just as much as the Bengals get up to play them.
Yeah.
Like these they don't like each other. But I'm gonna go with the Chiefs. Really wanted to pick the Bengals. I can't stand the Bengals.
We on the Sunday night?
Yes, we are. Sunday night.
Oh,
Bears
man.
at Texans in Houston, Texas, baby. Shout out H-Town. Should be a good one though. Caleb Williams goes over 100 yards this week, right?
He will. There's literally nowhere for their offense to go but up.
Roman Dunze, Keenan Allen, questionable going into this one.
I think one of them will play.
Yeah, I don't think
Keenan
they
Allen
both
will
will, but yeah, I think so too.
But it's literally nowhere for this offense to go but up. How many yards did they rush for last week?
The Bears?
I know DeAndre Swift had like 5 rushing yards.
Let me see. Let's look that up real quick.
And I know we talked highly of the Titans defense too, so it's not like I said, it's no way for the Bears to go but up.
Bears had 84 rushing yards, averaged 3.8 yards per carry. DeAndre Swift led them in rushing yards, 10 carries, 30 yards.
Okay, I know there was a
Caleb
point
Williams
where
was second. DJ Moore had a rush attempt for 14 yards.
He did have that big run because Jalen was in here. He was in here because he was on
talking
the
about some
Dodgers.
DJ Moore. That's right. I remember that.
Okay, so yeah. I mean, it's crazy because I think I might lean Bears a little bit in this one.
Yeah.
Especially with the way I think their defense is going to play phenomenal in this one. I think they're going to get up to play
I think
the
the
Texans.
Bears can take some stuff from what the Colts did last week.
And I'm like, the Colts, they don't even have good DBs anywhere.
That's true.
We talk about the Bears, you got Tyreek Stevenson. I didn't even mention Jalen Johnson is one of the highest paid corners in football. Jaquan Brisker's another guy in that secondary, which I could really see giving C.J. Stroud and the offense some fits. And I think if Sweat is able to get out the quarterback, and Darrell Taylor, the guy from Seattle, who had a big day last week. I mean,
am I leaning Bears too?
You don't got
with
to.
the receivers. I think I'm always. This is gonna be a good one.
I can see it. Caleb Williams,
I'm leaning Bears.
The Bears on a Sunday night, walking to Houston. It is gonna be crazy walking into Houston and actually beating C.J. Stroud.
He said, Saleh said it's not happening.
But I think I'm leaning Bears.
I'm leaning Bears for now. I have to pick a winner, though. I'm going to pick the Texans, but for sake of prediction. But Monday Night Football, Eagles hosting the Falcons.
It's not going to be a good one.
Spread is 6.
Eagles are gonna cover.
Eagles are gonna cover, says Bink.
You already know how I feel about the Falcons. I'm not the biggest Falcons fan, just at all.
And we talked about their schedule early on, isn't?
They got the Chiefs next week.
Yeah.
They're going to start out 0-3. I said they had to win week 1, and I didn't believe they were going to do that.
Patty Mahomes at H-Town week 3,
Yeah, it's just...
That's how lit, I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, it's a night game.
It is?
Yeah, this Kirk Cousins in like 2 weeks.
Oh! Yeah. We got Kirk Cousins on prime time.
It's a Sunday night game. Next week is Sunday night.
We got
Chiefs,
Kirk Cousins
Falcons.
on prime time 2 weeks in a... Oh, wow.
And Kirk Cousins
You're
looked
gonna see that
horrible.
graphic everywhere tomorrow. Everywhere. You're gonna see it. You're gonna see it for 2 weeks straight. You're gonna see that Kirk Cousins primetime graphic. You're gonna see it.
Oh, this is bad. I didn't know next week was a Sunday night game.
Yeah.
But yeah, Philly's gonna be able to get pressure with 4, and if they're gonna do that, Kirk Cousins, as immobile as he looked last week, it might be like a 6-7 sack day for the Eagles. I'm not gonna lie.
I think they're gonna be able to run the football too.
Yeah, and they're gonna double cover Drake
Did see
London.
AJ Brown tweak the hamstring the other day or yesterday.
They're gonna double cover Drake London. It's gonna be like you're gonna have to beat us with Darnell Mooney, and that's just not gonna work.
Kyle Pitts might have.
You can have a solid day. I mean, the linebackers aren't good in coverage. We know that for Philly. So Kyle Pitts could have a solid day, but it's like I just can't trust him. I mean, Bijan's going to get involved as he will. Josh Jacobs had a good day against him, so I think Bijan could have a good fantasy day. But in terms of an overall game perspective, I think Philly's going to win this one pretty easily.
Yeah, I'm rocking with Eagles as well. It's going to be turned there, bro. It's gonna be lit in Philly, bro. Monday night.
Is that Philly?
It's always lit. Yes, it's always lit in Philly, regardless. Their fans are crazy.
They're real home opener because they were home last week.
Yeah, this is gonna be the real home opener. I'm rocking with the Eagles as well. More will be discussed on the Monday morning pod from me. You're gonna hear more from me on Annie Up. But that concludes week 2 breakdown and prediction and recap of week 1. But before I get out of here, we got some boxing. I don't know when this will be released, but if I get the audio released today, which I think could happen, it's early. I know I can get the audio. I'm not about to ask Soundman for the video today. If I can get the video, but audio, we got Canelo Alvarez taking on Edgar Berlanga tonight. Should be a nice matchup. Nice fight considering all the, Edgar Berlanga is 22-0, 17 KOs. Nice young prospect, but he's been talking real spicy to Canelo, and I think that's probably why Canelo will win by KO or TKO. Because Canelo's a really respectful guy. His last opponent, Muyanga, I think that's how you say his name, but Munguia, he fought him. He was another Mexican fighter, and Canelo purposely didn't knock that guy out.
McCaffrey.
He could have knocked him out if he wanted to.
Christian McCaffrey officially placed on IR.
Big news. Just dropped the bomb here. Christian McCaffrey on IR, so it means he's going to be out at least the next 4 weeks.
I'm about to start trading for him.
Hey, I'm about to start sending some offers for him in some leagues. But this fight card is a good card, though. You got Caleb Plant on this card. You also got Rolly Romero. Him and his antics is funny. Stephen Fulton, he's fighting on this card as well. Should be a nice boxing card for my boxing fans out there. And on the UFC side, you got Sean O'Malley fighting. So a lot of good stuff on Saturday, September the 14th. But until next time, we won't have this set up next week. I will be traveling to LA next week, but we'll probably have a Zoom podcast. But I want to thank everybody for listening. I want to thank everybody for continued love and support. Thank to my guy Bink for pulling up on me, and shout out to my guy Soundman behind the lens as always. And we're out. Peace.
Peace.